So I just want to work off of the concept of a chain letter and like having this collaborative approach to things and seeing how each one's style has progressed since the beginning of this class. So I just kind of want to see like what the strengths are, what the interests are, what the aesthetics are, and kind of like building a base of properly establishing a creative direction before starting a project. So we'll go into like details like that and many other essential tools and free basically free ways of assembling your ideas. So all the solutions and strategies today will be done using non-paid software. So we'll be using Figma, we'll be using Pinterest, and we'll be using Adobe Colors. So we can start. I think we could start with that basically. But to begin, I think we'll start with Adobe. So I'll pull up Adobe Color. Alrighty.
So this is dope. We'll learn how to piece a project together. Things that can feed into Blender. Also do this as a group exercise.
This is what I usually do. I usually kind of establish a color scheme and let's open up. Uh, Alrighty. So while this loads, so like as you can see, my Pinterest immediately shows me things that I've been interested in. And this is kind of how I work. I like to save things, and then automatically when I save things, it's gonna optimize my home screen to the projects that I'm more inclined to liking. So this is kind of the start of my journey. I look through hundreds and hundreds of images daily to get to the point where I feel like I'm comfortable with something that I'm doing. So Um, yeah, like for example,
What do you search
uh,
for in Pinterest? Like what do you
so it depends. Like for example, if I'm looking for like landscapes, I type in uh
Tell me we're lo- tell me we're
I look
losing you.
No,
so
we're
like
here. Yeah.
usually I look at something like that, for example, and then once I've kind of or I like there's something that's really appealing to me. Like out of everything right now, the most appealing was this. Immediately I saw this, I was like, okay, this is really cool.
Yeah.
I start to work out what's happening. So, for example, this is a very simple scene in terms of just what's being set up. We have a noise displacement on the plane, right? So we have a plane over here that's being displaced, and then we have another plane that's being that we use a noise texture to kind of simulate water. And then pretty much the composition is based off of a focal point. So what does the artist want us to see in this image? What's the main focal point? So I like
It's got the,
it's
it's
a
got the little dot on it.
yeah, it's a question for everyone. What's the main focal point here?
I think it's the thing.
Tub?
Yeah, go ahead for it.
In this
I
image?
was gonna
What's the
say the
focal
tub.
point? I mean, the tub is the obvious choice, but I think it's more of like framing this scene over here. It's like this whole it's more of like setting the mood. It's like imagine being in the middle of nowhere with like the sunset, like a sunset type sky, and you're just sitting there in like a stone tub bathing. So like the idea is I think yeah, yes, the focal point is the tub, but it's more of like framing this kind of scenario. So yeah,
Right.
like that's kind of where and you see the logic of it though. You see that there's a foreground, okay? There's a foreground. which gives us some context towards the scene. Okay, this is a very like surreal kind of scene. And then there's a background, so it's kind of giving us this context, like this is how the terrain is. And then uses a very interesting combination of like colors and pastel. This is a pastel color scheme. And then they're using different particle systems. So we have like, I would say around 4 to 5 different particle systems. So this is one, another one here, and then the variation in these over here, 2 different types of grass. So it's a detailed scene in the sense that a lot of thought has gone into it, but it's not uh, execution wise, it's not that challenging. It's something that we could do, but it's more of like, okay, setting up the scene. There's a lot going on. Like you can see some depth of field, so things like that.
Framing,
And
like what you pointed out, like, and I really agree with the framing is really powerful because if you have like the water and the rocks and the boat by itself, it's really not
yeah,
impactful. But this cave-like thing,
imagine just having that. I mean, it's not terrible, but having that context of just having this very almost like it's a very unlikely place for a bathtub. So that's kind of it sparks this like very surreal, almost like um, a dream-like state, you know?
hmm
So it's a very powerful image, and that's the thing. That's what I like to accomplish with my work is delivering something that um, can be universally understood, but uh, interpreted in different ways. And then once you kind of like click one image that you're interested in, it's gonna show you something similar within the same schemes, within the same kind of information. So as you're seeing, there's like a lot of surreal art. There's a lot of like psychedelic inspired stuff, very like fourth dimension kind of realms. So I kind of want to ask you guys' opinion on what we should kind of go for. So this is kind of also it's a very I want this class to be collaborative. So on mic and tell me like, hey, let's try and do this. So what do you guys think? What should we go for? Because this is gonna be a group project. So I'm gonna start the scene and then I'm gonna send it over to someone else. Oh, this is cool. So like,
anyone have any thoughts?
Well, go ahead, Chi. You got some?
I don't know. I heard that we're just gonna work on Adobe
Can I ask a question?
RGB and color blend.
This is Amy.
Me,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Um,
Are these painted or
oh, this is all 3D, most of them.
3D?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think if you put a wine glass by your tub,
Mm,
it'll give it'll
it's
give
messy.
a perception of somebody relaxing and enjoying nature, even
That's
if
true.
it's just imagination. Just my thought.
A wine glass and a mango.
I don't think you want a messy mango in a bathtub, but
That
wine glass
that's
would do.
that's the point. So you can clean up the mess immediately. You don't have to mess up your clothes.
That mango seed is very slippery. I don't know if you've even tried that.
Yeah, it might submerge. We might submerge the mango. I mean,
Regards to the scene,
there's so many cool stuff going on. Like I need you guys to help me focus on a scene
yeah.
that we're all gonna build together.
So here's what I'm thinking. Maybe we can ask, like, like to discuss together, some basic considerations. Um, should there perhaps be should there be a figure, or should it be a scene without a figure? What do you folks think? Um,
I like the stuff you were just looking at that kind of looks like that movie District 9 or something like that. District something
It's
with the
dys
spaceships.
dystopian, very like yeah, I get that's a good movie. Where was it? Uh, I agree. I'm liking something like this. So here's my proposition. Um, let's build some surreal landscape, and I'll build that on. We can build that together right now using a software that I have, and I can upload that file to Blender, the Blender server, and then we can start. And then also anything to do with particle simulations like grass, just send it to me at that. We'll add those at the end because I've
hmm,
realized that exporting particle systems is not the greatest thing. So we'll keep this in mind. I'm gonna save this image. I will save it, and this will be our reference image. I think this is a good way to start because it's covering a lot of things that we've done already, in a nice way. I think this would be a nice like kind of ending to a chapter of the master classes where we can't I'm not gonna call you beginners anymore. Uh I'm gonna call you blunder artists. You're starting to get that title. So I think at this point, we could start to go into building that landscape. What do you guys think?
let's get it.
All right, I'll open it up. So
Let's do
today
it.
we'll be using World Creator. I love this software. It's one of the most intuitive. Let's share screen. It's one of the most intuitive softwares I've ever had the experience of using. And if it will let me share my screen. Hmm, wait. Interesting. Does this software have an anti-streaming policy? Huh, weird. Okay, there we go.
Yep.
Alrighty. Okay. So I'm envisioning some craters. I'm envisioning some cool action going on. So I'm gonna show you guys what we have to work with. Let's call this base layer. We'll add a layer. And the way this works is that you add filters over your landscape. So the generic landscape that they give you. So
But it doesn't look like we're in Blender yet.
oh no, we're just using different softwares today.
Yeah, things are just a little different today, Chi. He's going to show us the terrain and this other software. Is this free software or how much you pay for this?
So this is not free, but anytime you guys need any landscapes, just hit me up. I will give you I'll let you we can make landscapes together. But like
What is this called?
it's called World Creator. It's for around like $150. But I found it to be a fairly good investment because this just really takes a lot of uh a lot of heavy work out of creating landscapes in Blender. it's just a lot easier. And like I'll just show you guys just how detailed, like for example, these are the crater ones. It can simulate erosion, alien, like this is like alien terrain, for example. Super cool stuff. Like it's really, really detailed, like super detailed.
This one looks familiar.
Hmm.
This one looks familiar.
It does.
Hmm.
I use this regularly. This is a part of my workflow. Like this is dunes, for example, and you can add like different types of dunes. You can change the smoothness. You can add some roughness towards it. So, but what we're looking at is more of like a noisy terrain. So, like, let's say our scene was framed like something like this. So we want to kind of focus on something that has a little noise. Too noisy. But we want some areas where we can create these pools. So I'm thinking something like this. So we'll apply, add and close, and then we'll apply another one.
Don't we need the new softwares first to follow along?
Oh no, I'm gonna upload the file. So what the way that the classes for the next couple of days are gonna be is we're gonna be working on like a chain. Do you know what a chain letter is?
Quite.
This is a chain project. So someone will start their project and then send it to someone else, and then that person will add their touch and then send it to someone else. And then
Need
at the end
I'll
of the
need,
class, we'll compile it and render it out.
need to think of my own touch then.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like whatever it is, uh, I'm sure it's gonna be great, and you're gonna add your own touch into there. Like we get to see each person's character from this project, so I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. But just for like, guys, tell me what if there's like a look that you guys like. Oh, interesting. And like, let's not pay attention to the detail of the ground because it's gonna be covered in a particle system. Let's kind of focus on like maybe if the scene was like set up here and there's like water in the middle and there's like a little floating island in here where there's like something an obscure object like a bathtub or like a toilet seat in the middle. It'd be funny. I think this is a good one. We could do this, yeah. Or this. Yeah, this looks cool. Or yeah, let's do this. Okay. So we add and close. I'll export it. I'll actually do it an eighth of the size so that we can all actually. Okay, and let's export the height map. All right, I guess we're done. Okay. So what we'll do now is we'll open Blender. So I'll just share screen. Cool. Alrighty. So we'll delete our default cube. And what we'll do now is since we have as an OBJ, we want to import as an OBJ. So what we'll do is we'll go into File, import obj, and then we'll go to where we saved it, and this is our obj.
Important OBJ.
And there it is. So today, Chi, you're not going to be working on your computer while we're doing the class. It's more of like following along, and then you'll get your chance to. So next class on Tuesday, we will have already assigned the person to do the next step, and then assign like and so forth. So we'll look at the progress. Maybe each class, like for example, 4K is doing gets this after me. On Tuesday, 4K shows us a preview of what he did, and we go through what he did and if he has any problems. So it's more of like having a highlight on each person now.
When not everyone's gonna get their turn in one day today.
Oh no, no, no. It's gonna be a nice little project that Rami, I don't know if you're what do you think of potentially like the final project we could mint it.
Um, that's what it's going to be used for. It's going to be used for the certificates if it wins the submission, which are going to
So
be
if this
minted.
mints okay, so this is something lucrative for everyone.
Yeah, we're going to have to determine if we get a group submission how we'll distribute the royalties, but it's not something that we're creating for with a focus on value. It's more of a focus on the DAO. This plays a big part in. Um,
Absolutely.
mhm.
Alrighty. So let's actually start off by adding our liquid. So we have our plane. So I'm just gonna scale it. Guys, I want you to input like unmic and even if it gets noisy, let's just like do this project together. Yeah,
You said
unmic, unmic and talk. Alrighty, so we're creating
just
our liquid. All right. So I think we can establish a scene.
You got the water done pretty quickly there.
Yeah. Should we add more? Should it be high? Should it be low? What do you guys think?
Mid.
you
Mid?
had it.
It's too low.
Yes.
It's
Yeah, I like it a little higher.
Like
Mhm.
this? I like that too.
Just uh, make the see remaining land make it half as deep.
What do you mean?
Right, rise the water a little higher so that the
What
bank, yeah, like that.
like that? Okay, let's actually try to visualize this at this point. Now I want to kind of just open up my rendered scene. And what I want to do is actually see what this looks like with a nice text HDRI. So open up an HDRI.
It's so purple.
It is. This is indicating error. Textures low. Mm. You know what? Let's just use. Okay. Already. It was like a sunset scene. We're getting like sunset hues. So something like this. And like now we're gonna go back into Adobe actually, just so we can set up our color scheme. But I want to set up this. I want to set up this overall blocking. situation so we can kind of get an understanding. So I'm gonna just kind of create the water really quickly. Let's add noise texture. Okay. Okay. So look, to establish scale, I think we want to establish a sense of scale, and we can do that with the waves. So we bump down the scale a little tiny, bump it up a bit, add a bit of detail into that, drop it.
Wood, can you
Just
raise your raise your voice a little bit?
now is it better? Sorry, the mic was
Oh,
down
yeah.
below my chin. Sorry.
That-
So we
mhm.
want to establish a sense of scale with the waves. So see how I can set it up.
Are we, de- are we depicting an Arctic island sunset?
It could go there. I mean, that's the thing. Like, let's see how that's the fun part. It's like you're thinking of a sun like a uh an Arctic morning or something like that, and like I'm thinking of like a Garden of Eden, and Rami's thinking about I don't know, Central Park. It just like that's the cool thing, and like I want to see how this turns out. This is gonna be cool. So let's see. I'll add in. We can lower the scale down a little bit. Add in little roughness, detail. Let's add in a wave texture to kind of get that. What the heck happened? I mean, it could look surreal, where the water doesn't need to look realistic, but I don't think.
Being idealistic is not so bad either.
Yeah. So we have two options, guys. We have.
Ideal and real, I see.
Mm-hmm. So something more realistic, something a bit more surreal. Okay. Okay. Now, since we have two options. So actually, I like this noise texture more because it's giving a sense of scale. Giving a sense of scale. And now I want to add the height map to the plane. So I'm just going to get a normal map in here, plug in the normal, and I want to bring in my height map over here. Oh, interesting. Alrighty. Okay. And now let's switch over to Adobe. So this is Adobe Color. All you need to do is create an account, and I'll share screen. Is it sharing the screen, Pinterest, right now?
I'm not seeing something. Give me 1 second.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah, it's up now.
All right. Okay. So one way that I usually extract color schemes is like I just save the image, which I've already done. I go into Adobe Color, so it's color.adobe.com. You just need to log in, and what I do is I extract theme, and I just click and drag the file that I saved. So s- select the file. Is it is it not saving them? What's happening? I see. Okay, so I'll just bring in sniffing tool, snip it. Okay, and I'll bring in my image, and there you go. So it's gonna give me hex codes, and it's gonna give me the ability to scope through. So it's gonna focus on the primary colors, but this is basically the general scheme of everything. So if I wanted to focus on like the different colors, specific colors, this is how I'll be doing it. So I feel like they didn't capture the green. So let's actually try and do that. Yeah. So once I'm happy with this, I can save it. It's gonna ask me to sign in, but let's not do that. It's gonna take time. Open it again. And what you could do is just keep this window open. And if I click hex code, I just click it, it's gonna copy it to my clipboard, and I can just paste it into Blender. So we have this color scheme, okay? And if you cycle through these presets, it's gonna give you colorful option. It's gonna give you like the different options within. So this is using an AI, which is pretty cool. It's very useful. This is how I usually extract color schemes from like an image or something that I appreciate. I was like, okay, this is cool. So this is how I usually do it. It's always good to work with hex codes because you can get exact colors that you want. So the Pantones and things like that. So now I'll go into my scene and I'll just click my base color, go to hex, and I'll just paste. And that's giving me that green blue that we saw there. And I know this scene's gonna need a lot of particle systems, but
We're still looking at Adobe.
oh. So I just added the hex code here. So all I did was I just went into hex, clicked it, and just pasted it. And it's gonna give me
Uh,
that hex code.
we're still looking at Adobe.
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's frozen.
No.
At least you just taught me a new website I can use for my art. Color
Yeah.
Adobe.
Mm-hmm. And you can save your color schemes, and you can it gives you there's like a weekly or a monthly list of updated colors that are popular within different disciplines. So it's a very useful tool. So all I did was I just copied and extracted the hex code, and I just went into base color, and at where it says hex I just paste it and then enter. And now I want to get the pink. So I'll go back into Adobe. I'll get the pink. I'll go in and then I'll select my color, hex, and I'll paste it. And now I have the exact same colors in the scene. And what we could do now is
I missed where you pasted. You show that again, please.
Yeah, it's just I go into color, I just click the color and then where it says hex. So hex codes, that's what we're dealing with, hex. So anytime you see like a hex code, it's pastable here.
Got it. Thank you.
And it's just in general, you can also click and drag colors. So, you could do that. So for example, if I had this color set up here and I want to add it to my subsurface, I could just click and drag it there. And at this point, we can start to actually model our little tiny island that's going to be here. So I'm thinking we need to up the scale of our noise and add a color ramp in here because I don't like it constant, not giving me that. Maybe something like that. Pump down the strength a bit. Change. So when I have like very drastic changes, like distinction between the flatness and the noise, I can just take down the white value and tune it down to like a gray. So we have this like more subtle blending. And then I can up the detail, can drop the detail, I mean, a little bit like that. Up the scale, the roughness, can add some distortion, but see you can animate these values. We can make some cool weird stuff happen over here. Like for example, if we had like really high detail and like a lower scale, and then and then we bring in the wave texture, and we add some more detail to that, right? We add a little detail to the scale, lower that scale, some more distortion. So like now at this point, if we go into 4D, we can animate basically like an oil spill kind of situation. Or we can even take it further. So it's because it's on the wave texture, the phase offset's gonna give us a more organic blending. We could do that. So we can have and this is and you can see how it's causing these really cool reflections on the surface. It's bouncing that light off. So we can add some more detail. We reduce the scale a tiny bit. And let's add some, reduce the roughness and add some more detail. So now it looks more like an oil spill. What do you guys think? Oil spill?
As long as there's no fish
Yeah.
dying in there.
Yeah, there's no fish here. Or like they're just like radioactive fish that can withstand anything.
Anyway, it's still lovely for oil spill.
It's too lovely, huh? We can add some colors. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we add a little bit of, let's see, huh? Let's try something. Let's add a color ramp. Let's actually try and make this look like a color, like an oil spill. We don't need to go exactly off of that that scene. So let's add a some gradient colors in here. So like usually like oil spill has like a little bit of like green, right? Bit of like red.
So what are you going for with oil spill?
I don't know. It could be something interesting. It could be just like this alien planet that actually their natural water consists of of high doses of some fuel. That's how they nourish their planet.
That's where tasty machines live.
Hmm. Exactly. That's how it was made. So we got something like this going on. It's not really, it has that oil spill hue. Let's see if we plug in. Okay.
Inside China and something right now.
Sorry, Chi.
Yeah,
It's
man, you don't
either
have to ask for permission. Come on.
huh?
Jump
It's
in.
So you don't have to ask for permission. What do you got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is either a radioactive pond or a reflection of a rainbow or the aurora borealis.
Could be exactly. So that's up to you when you're
That's
working on the scene, and that's what I want to establish.
it's kind of cool because I don't think we've got to see you play on the scene before.
What did you say?
Well, because I don't think we've seen you play around in a scene before like this.
Oh, I'm tinkering like you. Like I'm just experiencing. I'm trying to. I'm approaching it like you. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. Crunch in those values. Yo, this is coming out cool, guys. Add another color ramp in here. And you can tell I changed it to constant to get that coloration because if I had it to easing, it's not going to give me that. I want to distinguish the dark, the black value. So now, like it's even a bit overpowering like that. You can input, guys, input anytime you want. So like we're just messing around like something like that. Guys, I don't know what exactly an oil spill looks like. What are the colors?
Um, there's like
There's
yellow.
hues of like yeah, like iridescence.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Amy, where you can jump in? Feel free to if you like to. Yeah, iridescence.
Okay, so now we actually have, let's play around with the roughness. So let's plug in our color ramp from here into our roughness. Okay, to get that. We want a metallic. Okay, let's bring in another color. Okay. And now, like, we see it, it's gonna animate something like this. So that's what I wanted to achieve. I'm gonna animate that from now. So the next person who inherits this scene is gonna have to deal with it. Uh, Setting it in stone, guys. Can't escape. Something like that. So if we play it, it's gonna be a nice little subtle. And what we could actually do is add another color ramp in here. Wait, no, let's not do that. What else do we want to do? Let's add some lighting. Let's add some like glowing streaks in this. Okay. I'm not gonna go too complicated, so I'm not gonna do too much in the scene so that you guys actually have something to do, and you don't like you don't just submit my scene like, hey guys, I did this. Okay, let's just plug that in. And I'm confident when I'm saying this, and that I don't need to point out details because I know you guys already better than I am. Like 4K has a job doing 3D now, so. Ready?
So I think in terms of the stream release, we can maybe leave it here, and then we will have a check-in again on Tuesday and see what happened as a result. But
Let's do
uh,
that. I'm just gonna change a little, add a little pizzazz, just a little
go for
tiny bit.
it. Do
Okay,
it.
there you go. Okay, there we go. So if I just decrease the strength of the.
Yeah, so we can hang out here and continue here in the Dream Conduit Discord, but probably a stream's been going for about half
Yeah,
an hour, so
yeah.
probably be a good
We
time to
can
just
we can kill the
end
stream.
that.
Yeah.
So if you're watching in now or 5 years from now, thanks for hanging out. Come check us out.
Yeah.
Dream Condo Discord, Dream Condo on Twitter, Dream Condo on YouTube, and Clubhouse. That's where a lot of the stuff goes down. Come
This
on
is
through, folks.
First 3D project chain letter I've heard of. So you've heard it first and seen it first here.
documented.